Stoneco's business has been struggling lately as a result of economic challenges in Brazil. High inflation and interest rate increases in Brazil are affecting Stoneco's performance and outlook. These macroeconomic factors contribute to investors turning cautious on Stoneco stock. But is that a buying opportunity for long-term investors? I'll answer that question in this video, looking at Stoneco's recent performance across several important financial metrics, including revenue growth, cash flow, and returns on invested capital. I'll also discuss a strategy initiative by Stoneco focusing on more profitable customers and how I feel about that strategy. Finally, I'll share with you my proprietary discounted cash flow valuation for Stoneco to reveal what I feel is a fair value for this business. And I'll look at valuation on a forward price to earnings basis and then answer the question if I think the stock is a buy at current prices.
I want to thank The Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So I mentioned that economic challenges in Brazil are slowing Stoneco's revenue growth. For several years, the company had been growing revenue robustly, adding new customers, and those new customers were engaging with Stoneco's services more frequently. But lately, that trend has reversed. One of the more recent strategies I talked about is Stoneco's management team focus on its MSMB segment, which is micro and small business customers, which were and are more profitable for Stoneco. And Stoneco's management team has spent less focus on its VIP segment, and these customers were less profitable for Stoneco. I typically like these strategy changes or focuses on more profitable customers, especially during times of higher cost of capital, which is what we have now. Worldwide, the cost of capital has increased substantially since 2021, and inflation is actually increasing again, given the geopolitical tensions, less trade, less increasing barriers, increasing tariffs. These are all inflationary, and this is going to have an impact. It's already having an impact to economies worldwide. You're seeing that in Stoneco. You can see its revenue growth has decelerated and turned negative in the most recent quarter. Stoneco had been doing a great job increasing its cash flow from operations on a trailing 12-month basis, and that has also turned negative at 28.5%. You can see just back in 2021, it was approaching over 100% or approaching 100% in cash flow from operations to sales. And sometimes you can have these numbers be larger than sales due to one-off items, changes in its cash flow from operations that are not longer lasting, but just one-time things like reversals in the spending on some of the assets and sales of its financial assets in its portfolio. But these negatives and the deceleration has certainly been bad news for Stoneco stock investors. And it doesn't look like it's heading in the right direction, especially as the economic challenges in Brazil persist. That being said, the bright side for Stoneco is that it has been adding new customers, and existing customers are increasing the amount of deposits they're keeping with Stoneco, and that's a lower cost of capital for the company that it can then use to make loans and generate a spread between what they have to pay for the money coming in and what they earn for the money going out. We see a similar story with its return on invested capital. It's negative 5.31%. It's been volatile throughout its history. No clear trend upward, no clear trend downward, just volatility and difficulties for Stoneco here. Now, when I calculated the fair value of Stoneco's business, according to the Wall Street analysts that are following the company, They expect its free cash flow will rise meaningfully over these next few years from 230 million all the way up to 550 million by 2028. The company is an above average risk with a beta of 2.26 and an overall weighted average cost of capital of 16%. So, despite this higher cost of capital I applied to Stoneco, the intrinsic value per share came to $20.62 compared to the current market price of $10.52. I will say that I have less conviction in this estimate because of how much it depends on huge increases in free cash flow over these next few years when the direction, the current economic environment is not showing that right now. So it's an above average risk scenario, but that's accounted for in the weighted average cost of capital. So this is one of those situations that, sometimes you have a situation where it can be like either over here or over here, right? Narrow range of outcomes for a business and its valuation. This is one of those situations with a much wider range of outcomes. And when I see a wider range of outcomes, that means a greater degree of risk, which is okay. As investors, we're not avoiding risk. We just want to be compensated for the risk that we're taking. That's the key to remember. That's what I teach every aspiring finance student at university when we go over the chapter on risk versus return. I always talk about how we're not trying to avoid risk, but we want to be compensated for risk. We don't just want to take risk for no reason. If we're taking risk, we want to be taking risk because we expect to earn a larger degree of return for taking that risk. Otherwise, we can just leave our money in a certificate of deposit and earn 4.5%, right? If we're going to go beyond something like that, where it's a guaranteed rate of return, then we want to make sure we're getting something for taking that risk. And then when I look at valuation on a forward price to earnings, it's at 6.5. So there's a couple of things going on here with Stoneco. Number one, the current situation is challenging. It's amid a declining revenue growth, cash flow from operations is declining, volatility in the business, and macroeconomic challenges in the primary country it operates. That being said, the valuation has come down significantly to account for that. It's trading at a forward PE of just 6.5. Its discounted intrinsic value per share is trading at about half its intrinsic value. So all that being said, if I was to answer if Stoneco stock is a buy, hold, or a sell, I would rate the stock as a buy. Hey everyone, I'm excited to announce a brand new private Discord for our channel members at the VIP Discord level. It's a great place to connect with me directly, engage with like-minded investors, and learn more and take your investing to the next level. Spots are limited, so join now before it's too late.